Hi guys, this is SDJRSMF88 speaking with another update on the G-Scale Garden Railway. As you know, it is fully operational now, though there is still a bit of a way to go regarding a few changes and modifications, and of course the siding as well. So without further ado, we'll get into this update. Now, as you know, one of the most recent videos was a driver's eye view of the line. Now, this, apart from being very fun and something I've really wanted to do since starting the project, has also helped out in spotting a few issues on the track. Now, we're just by the suspension bridge, as you can see there, and if I zoom in here, there is a join in the rail here. Now, in that video, there was quite a substantial dip in the track, and also that could be quite seen quite prominently in the running video before that. But I've since sorted that very simply by just sliding a bit of the loose ballast here underneath the rail to level it up on one side, and it makes it now smooth. This was probably because of the heat. Obviously, when you lay the track, you cannot foresee how much the track will twist and bend due to the heat, and it did quite substantially here. But with the ballast just slid underneath some of the sleepers there and raised the one side, it is now quite straight and the engines run quite smoothly over it. This rail here though has twisted very slightly, but nothing too substantial, and it doesn't really affect the running of the locos and the rolling stock. As you all know, they are quite short wheelbase locos, all 040s at the moment, so don't really have any trouble with it, and neither do the wagons, which is all good news. Apologies if this shot is a bit wobbly, but to get this angle I've had to go handheld to get to this location. But another issue that was raised with the driver's eye view and the running session as well is the section of track leading onto the suspension bridge on the other side. Now, as you know, this is the German Pico track, and on the bridge is the UK Pico track, which, as you saw in one of my previous update videos, there is a huge scale difference between the two. Now, one issue with this is that the sleepers are much chunkier on these ones and raise that rail there. Now, as you can see quite clearly here, there is a little sudden drop in the rails. Where it's been screwed on there, it's caused the rails to bend down a bit. Now, what has happened in some of the running videos is when the locos go over this joint, well, the trains go over this joint, the tension lock couplers on the LGB stock is one loop and then one coupling hook. Now, when the loco goes over, if it's pulling a train in that direction, goes over that joint, the hook drops down and releases from the ring on the back of the wagon, and basically it leaves the train behind. And I have got a fair few funny outtake clips from the running sessions where I'm filming the train crossing the bridge and you just see the engine pulling away and the wagon slowly rolling behind it until it comes to a gradual stop. But this is going to simply be sorted just by unscrewing the screw very gently there, just to give the track a bit more leeway, and then slotting a little bit of maybe a little slip of plastic under the sleeper just to raise it a bit, to give it a bit of a gradual slope, so it's really not that harsh. Now, if I hadn't done that running video, I wouldn't have spotted this, purely because I can see it clearly now. But it's such a very slight gradient difference. But obviously it's quite a substantial difference to the scale size of the stock, which causes this problem. But now that will be sorted. Hopefully this will not be a problem, and the locos won't leave their trains behind. Hopefully. Naturally, being the British summer, we have had quite a substantial bit of rain recently. With the rain, the plant life in the garden has flourished, but not necessarily the right sort of plant life. As can be seen, the weeds have flourished pretty well. In fact, this one here, which is perfectly fine, I don't mind them in a location like this. It does add a bit of visual interest and a sort of bit of natural sort of look to the railway. Are perfectly fine, but this one wasn't here a couple of days ago and has since sprung up. But the problem I have with these weeds is they're very invasive and they practically grow up anywhere. Now, when we laid the track bed, we made sure we got rid of all the weeds, but these things spread like wildfire and the seeds fall around and they end up getting buried in the ballast. And as soon as they're in there, and a bit of water touches them, they grow instantly. And that one there is fine, as mentioned, but if I zoom in on this pair of points down here, you can see they are starting to grow up directly under the track, which is extremely annoying. As you can see, there's one also in the middle there, hiding away. and there's one here. Now, we've pulled up a good number of these recently, which is good, and they haven't seemed to have come back as of yet. But these ones here are going to be extremely hard to remove. So we're going to get a spot-on treatment weed killer and hopefully dab that on, and that should get rid of them. But these things really do spread, and as can be seen, there's some up here. That's probably where they came from, because they seem to like this area of the track in this cutting by the suspension bridge more than the other sections. But that is not a problem. Once we get the spot-on treatment, that should be not an issue. But like I said, I don't mind them in areas like that or like that. You know, they don't look too bad. They sort of give a natural feel to the railway. But the you know, only problem is they are a weed and they do spread like wildfire. Yeah, but that problem should be sorted very soon. One of the biggest issues I've discovered with the layout is the passing loop itself. So I decided to test it. I had one loco in the passing loop with the both points set against it, and I had the other one on the track with the both points clear so it would run. Anyway, I turned on the controller, and to my horror, both locos moved, even though the one in the passing loop had both points set against it. Now, this caused me to do a bit of research and looking into the points as to explain why this would happen. And I maybe thought that it might have just been the Pico track pack. But turns out that all G-scale points, unlike 00, N-gauge and other scales, do not come isolating, which is extremely annoying indeed. Basically, non-isolating means that the power goes down both rails even though the point may be set against one direction, which is, you know, really annoying, especially for a passing loop, because the whole point of a passing loop is to really cut off one locomotive from the rest of the track so another one could pass. But with G-scale, they don't isolate them, and you have to create your own isolators, which, you know, one, there's a really expensive method where you have to buy a £60 switch set and cut a number of sections of track. But I have found a slightly cheaper method where you have to, where you could put like a little toggle switch into the sleeper, but that would mean I have to do it 4 times for the passing loop. I'd have to have one there, 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 and there to isolate both sections of track, which is extremely annoying, and it would mean I have to flip the switches in the correct order to isolate the correct section of track. It would also mean I have to cut a slice in each section of rail at those sections, which, you know, really, I don't really want to do, and it is extremely annoying considering that the whole point of this passing loop was so I could pass 2 trains and isolate one. This also, the same goes for the new siding, meaning that I can't leave a loco in that siding, as if I were to run a train, the loco in that siding would also move as the same as the train on the actual running track itself, which means I would also have to cut another section there and also put another isolator there. This is all really, really annoying, and but I'd like to thank all the people on the G-scale forums and the G-scale Facebook pages and all that has really helped me out with this issue, as I knew nothing about this. If I knew about this at the start, I probably wouldn't have had a passing loop installed, and I would have just taken the locos on and off, because practically even with this, you know, all I could do is take a loco off the track at the moment. Where, you know, I can't run 2 at the same time, which is really annoying. But I'm sure in the future I will get around to isolating this at some point, finding a cheap, safe and easy method of doing it. But for the moment, I'm just going to have it for wagon storage, and when I want to run a different loco, I'm going to have to use a trick of the camera and take another one off the track, which is of course really annoying. The whole point of this passing loop was to pass 2 trains, but clearly the G-scale points don't allow that. But I'm sort of relieved that it wasn't just me buying slightly cheaper points than some of the more expensive LGB ones, but it turns out the expensive LGB ones are the same. But there we go. So a word of warning to those of you starting in G-scale, that G-scale points don't isolate. But anyway, it's not all doom and gloom for this update, as we'll see in the next bit now. Now, with the rain we've been having lately, and also the lovely sunny weather like we do now, my nan and grab have been out busy gardening while I've been at work, and basically they've been planting a variety of these beautiful little plants and shrubs that will you know, grow around the railway in the near future. As you can see, there's some lovely little ones down around here. And also on the back here, we've got some nice little flowers that have gone here. Done a bit of rearranging of the embankment here. We've got some moss in there as well. And it's really starting to blend the railway in, and it really does look nice. So hopefully this will be a wealth of colour when these plants come out in bloom. But it really does blend in quite nicely with the rockery, and I can't thank them enough for doing this. But there we go, it's all been nicely trimmed back so it doesn't encroach on the railway there. And it's the same around the rockery down here as well. Now this little section here in between the embankment and the suspension bridge and the pond is looking a bit sparse at the moment. There's a couple of rocks in there for me to stand on when cleaning the bridge, but it's all been moved around and blended in like it is down here. Now one of the planned features for this section is in fact a lighthouse. Now fellow YouTuber Tom, who also has a G-scale garden railway, has recently purchased a garden ornament in the form of a solar powered lighthouse, and it really does look the part. It has basically, it runs on solar power, and the light spins round and flashes, and basically it just charges itself in the day. And I think it will look really, really good on like a summer's evening with the light sort of spinning around, overlooking the pond. And I think that'd be a lovely little feature there. So that's one of the little features that I plan to add to this section in the not too distant future. I need to order one up and purchase one. But when I get my hands on one, we'll blend it in there, and I think it will look very, very good. So thanks, Tom, for informing me of such an interesting item. As well as the new additions to the flower bed, the area where the new pondside siding will be has also been cleared. As can be seen, there's now no weeds there, and also the soil's been levelled out there. Now, in the onboard driver's eye view video, a few people have commented about the quite clear height difference between the trackbed as seen in the top left of the screen there and the actual level of the front of the pond there. It's a good few inches. Now don't worry, as the area which has been flattened out there behind the statue will be raised, much like most of the trackbed has. We'll plan to put in some wooden posts in there which the trackbed will be on, and then we plan to have like a trim, like a skirting on the front of it of wood. Nicely done, like a nice bit of effect sort of thing, and that will hold the ballast back with the track on top. And then also on top of that, to make sure of the what I mentioned in the last update, if anything accidentally happens and a item of rolling stock comes derailed in that area, there will be a fence on there to stop any items of rolling stock happening to end up in the pond, which of course we do not want. So we will be putting a bit of fencing on there just to stop that from happening. But all in all, it's all been cleared and is now ready for really when we get started with that. All the track has been purchased and has arrived, so in theory it should neatly fit in between those two stones there. That grey stone, that grey-white stone that you see in the shot between the two brown ones there, that won't be there. That's just to hold the fish pond, the net for the pond up for the moment. But yeah, this has all been cleared, so it's really ready for the track to be added. I guess that's all for this update. As you've seen, there's been a few issues that have been discovered, but none too problematic for the moment, apart from the passing loop and the isolating switch issue. But I'm sure that'll be overcome at some point. But all the levels for the track are actually quite good now they've been modified, and as has been seen, the trains have been running really well. I've got a few more running videos pre-filmed and ready to upload, so I hope you are looking forward to those. Also showing off a few new additions to the fleet, one of which you probably heard in the driver's eye view video. That will be seen in the next video, so you have that to look forward to, and I hope you enjoy. But anyway, that's all for now, and this has been SDJRSNF88 speaking, and thanks for watching.